Alright, so we are going to take a look at making tree diagrams, which are a useful way to help us find the probability of an event if we are working with multiple events. So let me read this example problem to you, and we can take a look at it together. So, we are flipping a coin. So we're going to flip it not once, but twice. So, in that case, right, there's a probability both times for flipping the coin. So, for example, if I flip a coin one time, I could have it land on heads, which we will call just H, instead of writing out heads. So it's possible, right, that I flip heads, okay, and then on the second flip, right, so I could flip heads, and then the second time I could flip heads again, or the second time I could flip tails. Okay, now it's also possible that I could flip tails first and then flip heads on the second one, or I could flip tails on the second one. So this here is a tree diagram, and you can see the very end, so this far right side shows us that there are 4 total possible outcomes. So we'll go ahead and write those outcomes off to the right here. Okay, so I'll move myself out of the way. So we'll do one more row, and we'll say, okay, so one possibility is that I flip heads the first time and heads the second time. So we'll write that as H, comma, H. And we can put that into parentheses. Okay, I could also get heads the first time and tails the second time. So we'd write that as H, comma, T. Okay, and I'm sure you can figure out the other two. Tails the first time, heads the second time, or, or tails the first time, tails the first time, and tails the second time. So these are our 4 possible outcomes if we were to flip a coin twice. I could get heads, heads, I could get heads, tails, I could get tails, heads, or I could get tails, tails. So that is a total of how many possible outcomes, right? That would be 4 possible outcomes. So if I wanted to ask the question, what is the probability that I will flip tails and then tails? Well, we can see there's only one of these here that is tails, tails, and there are 4 possible outcomes, so the probability of that would be 1/4. Oops. Okay, but I could also ask, for example, what is the probability that I will flip heads at least once? Okay, well, if we look at this, I could get heads, heads, I could get heads, tails, and I could get tails, heads. All 3 of those have me flipping heads at least once. So that would be 3 where I flip heads, and then 4 total. So the probability that I flip heads at least once when I flip a coin twice is 3/4. So this is a look at how we can use a tree diagram to help list out multiple events with probability.